Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Agoracom, in which we speak to small cap executives right after they put out important news. With us again, we're happy to have her back, Hamital Yitzhak. She's a co-founder and CEO of Else Nutrition, trades on the TSX Venture and the stock symbol BABY, baby, and for our friends in the US under BABYF. For those of you new to the story, it's going to be some of you, even though Else Nutrition has been a real market darling in 2020. This is an Israeli-based, award-winning plant-based food nutrition company. It gives small-cap investors an opportunity to participate in this global paradigm shift towards plant-based, clean-label foods, and more than just lip service. The company now has $30 million in cash, thanks in part to being backed by the subsidiary of a $2.7 billion Hong Kong-listed conglomerate that owns approximately 11.6% of the company, plus non-dilutive rights. They led a recent $25.7 million investment, and their goal is to help the company sign international agreements, which is great when you consider the fact that the company's been awarded patents in 22 countries, with 44 countries pending, including recently receiving key USDA organic certification to launch the world's first 100% plant-based, non-dairy, non-soy baby formula in the US, where they're already going direct to consumer via Amazon and their own e-store, as well as grocery and natural food stores, thanks in part to a distribution agreement with one of the biggest in the country, in the industry. Here to talk about all that is Hamital. Welcome to the show.
Hey, hi, George. How are you? I'm very excited to be here with you.
We're great. I want to congratulate you on this recent financing. That's a fantastic achievement, and let's talk about that. You know, we know the total number of dollars raised. What are you going to be using this war chest for? These proceeds?
Yeah. Well, so first of all, we plan to use the proceeds mostly for sales and marketing, our digital social endeavors, social influencers, and also retail promotions and store activities for sure. Absolutely R&D, clinical studies, new product development and scale ups that we're doing all the time. Some inventory buildup, which is something that as we roll out into the retail space is going to be growing in an exponential growth rate. We are also investing in our own production capacity for some of the ingredients, which are holding we have a certain IP for certain ingredients, which are exclusively manufactured for us in certain places. And we would like to take that into the company, which is the most valuable or precious asset of the company. Of course, working capital and general corporate purposes on top of everything.
I want to go into the specifics about, distribution in the US and all that. But first, this financing was led by your strategic investor, H&H Global. Tell us about that relationship, where it's at and where it's going.
Yeah, so H&H, as you said, is a Hong Kong listed company with a market cap of about almost $3 billion and an annual revenue of about $1.5 billion in 2019. I think they're on the route to become a global leader in advanced baby and adult nutrition, as I see it. Through their international presence, they have grown to have 4 brand centers in Australia, China, France, and the United States, and R&D centers as well in China and France and some other countries. And as you said, they've increased their stake in Else, and we are working all together very closely to actually launch a product in Europe in their through their French operation, which is a very strong operation in the baby and infant space. And we've started negotiating with them also the Chinese front, but this is only very preliminary. We're building the strategy and the whole business plan to penetrate the Chinese cross-border platform, which is a very strong and robust operations that they've got. And the Chinese market, of course, is a very important market for ELSE, as it's actually represents almost half of the infant nutrition market globally.
Well, that's exciting because I know you stated that from the first day that we started doing interviews together that, you know, one key part of that relationship is to help with international expansion, and to hear from you now that, you know, conversations are already beginning for France and China and so on. That's fantastic news. And, you know, it just supports why they continue to lead financing rounds and maintain their ratio of ownership. So, you know, that alone, I think, speaks for itself. Let's talk about the U.S. market. You officially launched your toddler nutrition in the U.S. market in August. That was more on the e-commerce side. Can you tell us more about the U.S. launch strategy? Because I know you're going direct to consumer as well as right into the physical grocery store. Let's talk about the U.S. launch strategy, because that's obviously a big one as well.
Yeah, so as you probably know, and you've already mentioned that we are already online with our e-store and the Amazon store, which has been open about two weeks ago. And we already see a lot of traction there. We haven't disclosed yet the sales, but you'll be seeing that in the financial reports soon. So let's speak a little bit about, first of all, our marketing strategy, or our go-to-market strategy as an overarching aspect. So we focus on 3 target groups, which we have identified while researching the North American market: the vegans, the flexitarians, which are one group, the allergic intolerant families, and I call them healthy progressive consumers, those who really know about everything that there's on the ingredient list. They prefer the minimal list and the as little ingredients as possible in their foods. These are 3 groups, and these are our early adopters. And we see great traction and the great acceptance of the brand in those groups. And they're also our ambassadors. They keep pitching our story on social channels to their friends and family and to whoever whom they can. They're speaking between one another, and we're helping them to do that or to amplify that using a very big community of influencers and plant-based in the plant-based and parenting space, with whom we will be promoting the brand. And they are so enthusiastic to do that, even more than doing just a business with us, because they're really so excited about having something so different, so new, that really, you know, enables a choice for parents, which hasn't been there for so many years.
Yeah, so they're happy to be part of a double bonus. One is obviously, as influencers, they're working with you. That's great. But the second point, they're promoting a product that they know is going to make a significant impact in toddler health. So that's you know, that's a win-win for everybody. It's not a surprise. Go ahead.
Yeah, their bond to their brand, to this brand, is more than just business. It's really emotional. They're very excited. They're kind of an impact mission to do something else, to do something better for everyone. So we're all on a mission.
Yeah, digital media, if you've got passionate influencers, it's hard to lose when you've got passionate influencers behind you. And it shouldn't surprise you, Hamatal, right? I remember that a couple of months back, you had done some surveys online about the product and the kind before you started commercializing, before you started launching, and you had some pretty good results there, right? From surveys about how people were going to be accepting the product, how likely they were to purchase, correct?
Absolutely. We see that already in action, that we've seen 60% of those who were surveyed, and it was a representative sample of the American parent in the right ages. So we've seen 60% willingness to buy the brand in whatever price there will be in the SRP that we're talking about. And there was no how do you say that? There was no flexibility in terms of, I mean, if you would have increased the price a little bit, they would still want to buy the product because there's something about this that
Sure.
the need is so big, then there is no price flexibility on that. I mean, there's a very, very high and strong demand to get such an option. And we can see that also with celebrity influencers that are getting engaged with the brand. We have several of them already approached us and actually showed interest in working with us, which is something quite unique for a
Wow.
new. We already have one engaged with us, which is Hilaria Baldwin, the wife of Alec. She's a tier one influencer in the parenting and plant-based space. She will help us. I mean, she approached us by searching for better nutrition for her toddler. She's a mother of 5. And so she will be helping us through creative social media and video content that will actually highlight her findings and her journey as a plant-based mother. So this is another sign of the traction, of the vibe that we're creating, because people are really interested, and even celebrities are seeing the value that we bring into that market. Another thing that we're going to do is after the elections, we'll be launching an overarching hero campaign and about an else world that we're creating, which is a different world.
Wow. Okay. That's going to be exciting to see. I can't wait to see that.
Absolutely. It's really an exciting video. It's an animated video, and we're working very hard on social and influential marketing channels to bring else to the US public awareness.
Well, that's also going to pay off in what I'd like to call the real world. You've got social media influencers, direct to consumer, e-commerce, Amazon, but you've also got, the fact of the matter is we still got store shelves all across America, and you need to find a way to get there. And it seems like you signed a key distribution agreement with one of the largest, most well-regarded fresh, natural, organic, specialty food distributors in North America. I thought that was a phenomenal. How important is this to the company?
Yeah, well, KeHE, this is the distributor. It's really is one of the largest and most regarded natural food and natural products distributors in North America. They have 70 years of experience in this space. And actually, this agreement will open distribution for else they got over 16 distribution centers across North America. So this will be opening a groundbreaking, this will be opening thousands of store shelves in the United States for else. Actually, we're going to start rolling out with them from November, and they're going to start picking our products from 2 distribution centers in California and Oregon.
Right.
They've got like above 5,000 employees in North America, and they're serving potentially for us 30,000 retail outlets. So just think about the potential of else growing into that. So this is really key for else, and it means that our product will soon be available to customers at their favorite stores across America. It marks a major step in distribution, and we are thrilled to be working with a real leader in natural food distribution.
I think that also serves as another indication of third-party validation. That's very important, because it's one thing for Hamutal Yitzhak and her team to come on and say, we got this great product, it's the best product in the world. But you've got multi-billion-dollar food conglomerates out of Hong Kong. You've got some of the biggest distributors in North America who are participating with you. And that, they just don't do that unless with their expertise, they've already determined, right, that you've got a great product. So I think that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Third-party validation.
That we already see, there is a great acceptance with so many retailers that we've already are in talks with. It's just under process through them and not through them. Some of them are not through them, but it's all coming from our, from the retail brokers that we are engaged with. We have 5 retail brokers that we've engaged. We've announced that
Right.
a few months ago, but they've started working. So now they have the distributor. So we're all set to start really rolling out immediately. And we can already see that happening with so many chains that we are talking to already.
And you've got your supply chain totally lined up, right? How production, inventory, delivery, all that's already ready to go. I know it is, but it'd be good for everyone at home to just kind of reaffirm that.
Reaffirming, we have announced that we have already produced the second manufacturing run, which was 3 times in volume. It was produced successfully. It's currently being packed, and the next run is already booked for November. So we are really rolling out those things. We are all set and we are preparing for the growth. So everything is going to be in place once we need that.
Give us an indication now. You've got all your ducks in a row. You've got supply chain lined up. You got funding lined up. You've got the distribution agreements lined up. You got everything lined up. What is rollout? So you've already mentioned the fact that KeHE is starting to distribute in November through California and Oregon distribution centers. Take us through what maybe the next, 6 to 12 months looks like in terms of continued rollout with them and your other distributors, because we don't forget about them. They're also very significant distributors. Do you have any sense of, and I don't want to pin you down to numbers, but do you have any sense for what the rollout would look like over the next 6 to 12 months across North America?
So I'd say that first and foremost, we'll be rolling out into more and more retailers, which is news in itself. It's the most exciting news for investors to know that we are expanding and we are selling more and more. Of course, the awareness to the brand will be much larger as our endeavors and our spend in marketing will grow. Of course, after this financing round, which we can afford, a much stronger spend in marketing.
Sure.
And we'll be announcing, of course, material listings with the larger nationwide retailers as they happen. There will be several new product launches in the kids space and in the baby space, as well as new territories penetrations with Age and Age and independently. We will start the pathway of clinical validating some of I can say miraculous life-changing impacts that we already see with ELSE.
Wow, that's saying a lot. Wow.
We've seen indications. I'm saying it's only indications. It's only anecdotal incidents with certain consumers, which currently are very few, but these things are really happening. That parents are testifying about healing effects that ELSE has. Like parents are saying that their children were healed from eczemas, from allergies. They are starting to gain weight with not being able to do so with other formulations that they were using, and they've used everything that was there. So things like that needs to be validated, and we're starting to consider a clinical pathway to validate that. So this is something we're going to do in the next months. Needless to say, there are long-term processes that take place in the company, which their immediate outcomes are not seen now, but they're always in progress, and they will eventually have a great impact on the company's performance. I'm referring to the processes such as the breakthrough plant-based clean label infant formula for babies from 0 to 12 months, for example, or things that we're developing with adult nutrition. There are things that are longer term and that are taking, they would take more than a year or even 2 years, but these things are on the go. I mean, we are doing that. We are on the pathway, and this is something that investors don't necessarily see or get the notion of. So it's important to mention it. So I think more or less these are the things that we can anticipate in the next coming month.
Well, that's a great pipeline of things. That's a fantastic. And personally, I know it's not around the corner, but I can't wait for the adult versions of your products. you know, I'm Greek, a traditional meat and potatoes eater most of my life, but I'm starting to really see the value of plant-based, clean nutrition eating. And I don't know where to look, quite frankly. I don't know what to trust, but I know that I can trust products coming out of Elf. So I can't wait to see you guys launch that.
Surely, I can tell you that sometimes when I forget to order my lunch in the office, I just take the Else powder and just drink it, and it's so full of energy, and it brings me to and gives you a completely different day when I'm on that diet. So I just can tell you from my own experience that I can recommend that.
Will you
Even
be having distribution? Obviously, there are Canadians who are watching this as well. We know that you're going to be going after the U.S. market. Will it be in Canada soon, as far as the North American distribution, or just focus on the U.S. for now?
Yeah, so it is shipped to Canada from Amazon. I mean, not from Amazon, from our e-store. We're working on a possibility that it will be shipped to Canada from the Amazon.com store, but we don't comply to the Canadian regulation. In terms of, it's just a matter of changing some vitamins and minerals. We have to create a different formulation
Right.
and do another run, a different run for the Canadian market, which is something we consider to do, but first we wanted to focus on bringing the product into the US market. And that was the, focus, always focus. So we wanted to do that. And now we're creating additional productions for additional jurisdictions. So as Canadian is on the table, it's not yet there. We're working on the European French formulation.
Yeah, and those are bigger populations, right? Canada's still a small
Yeah.
market relative to what you're going after.
So we always have to prioritize in terms of how big is the market we are addressing. So, but absolutely, we are very cognizant about the fact that many of our investors are Canadian. We're a Canadian company, so it's in our heart, and we are working to bring a Canadian formulation as soon as possible, but with the limitations of what the company can do at a certain time.
Sure. And don't worry about that. In the meantime, the Canadian audience will grow with the company as investors, and eventually, when you get there, they'll grow physically with the company as well from a product point of view.
I'm sure that to make these considerations in terms of the profitability and to do this prioritization for themselves as well. So this is something that I'm sure that they want to.
Congratulations. I think it's fair to say I speak on behalf of everybody when I congratulate you and your team. We know that's a big team effort over there for sure. And, we're not just saying that as an empty platitude, but big congratulations. I feel a lot of pride for the fact that we're partnered with you, but I'm sure I speak on behalf of everyone and how you and your team have developed this company from a financial security point of view, from a product point of view, and now a distribution point of view. And what it sounds like, more research and development point of view coming in the next 6 to 12 months with other territories. Last word to you to speak to your shareholders.
Yeah, I really want to thank all our shareholders for their trust and for their faith in plant-based in general and in Else specifically or particularly. I can tell you that we are doing, again, I'm saying that again, we are doing our utmost to make this company a great success on a global scale. And we have a wonderful team that works days and nights for that purpose. We are really driven with our mission. And I think it's the most important thing because we're not just doing business, we're changing something for the best or for the benefit of children and babies in this world. And they are the next generation and they deserve better. So here we are.
Well, that's a great thing about these videos. We'll end it at that, is that the passion, your passion really comes through here. Whereas a lot of companies will want to talk about just the numbers and just, maybe their stock price, something like that. It's clear how passionate you are about the space, about the product, about helping families, parents, toddlers, and eventually big people like me. But it really comes through, Hamutal. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know you've got a lot on your plate. We all know you do. And the fact you take the time out like this is deeply appreciated.
Thank you so much, George. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And this was like that again. Thank you.
Well, one of these days when the travel restrictions are done, I guarantee you I'll be flying out to Israel. We'll be doing it in person from the offices, give everyone a great, personal interactive experience with you. But thank you so much.
We prepare a great meal out of Else products.
Hey, if that's what I need, if that's what needs to happen for me to get the Else products, I'll fly. I'll do it. I'll do whatever. That's how valuable they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Everyone at home, you've been watching, or if you've been listening via podcast, Hamutal Yitzhak, she's co-founder and CEO of Else Nutrition. The company trades on the TSX Venture Exchange on the stock symbol BABY. Now you know the relevance of that stock symbol if you didn't know it before because you're new to the story. And for our friends in the US, under BABYF. What's left for you to do now, if you haven't already done it, is your due diligence. Get to the Agoracom hub for Else Nutrition. Take a look at the profile page because we know there's a lot of information to consume here. This is a disruptive company in the food and nutrition space. And, new investors won't understand everything the company is doing just through watching one video. So get to the profile, read through there to really get a grasp of it. Watch a couple of our videos. I strongly recommend that we've already done with Hamutal, and then make sure you get over to their site to complete your due diligence. And hopefully you've discovered your next great small cap company. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a fantastic day. See you next time.